Alright folks, welcome back to round 2 of the MX-5 League. We're here today in Watkins, Glen. This recording is taken off a replay because I was in VR and I didn't want to try and record and do VR at the same time. VR was giving me enough trouble this race, so nah. So this is a recording from James, which means the car's going to jump around a little bit more than it probably should. Ignore it, it'll be grand. But it means I don't have my real time up, which means you can't see the relative times of the cars around me and who's around me, so I'm going to have to guess half the time, but we'll get by. We qualified P8 out of a field of about 20, so that's not a bad quality. And I saw the car going gear. Yep, here we are, ready to go. And away. And that was not a bad start. Not bad at all. So Crossdale, Georgian, and here he's Sal's head there to the right. And we back off early just to give everyone space. Because to finish first you must finish. I don't expect to finish first, but first you must finish. So we're on the outside of Viperian. He tucks ahead so we can slip in behind as well and get part of the draft train. Viper had low, okay, so balance power is in effect here, so people have different amounts of restrictors in balance, or not balance, ballast. So Viper is one of those low restrictor people, so he gets to plow up the straight and go 3 wide. Ooh, ooh. I get someone up the inside of me who then backs out and has nearly touchies with someone else. That's fine. As long as it's not in contact with me, that's okay. Someone on my outside, I cannot for the life of me remember who that is or recognize the livery. But they elect to go the inside here, which means on the outside for the next corner. Which I'm not a fan of because you never know how tight the person on the inside is going to get it, so you end up going wider than you need to, which is always a pain in the ass. That will get me later, don't you worry, we'll see that. We'll see that actually that exact situation flipped. But anyway, so we're cleared him a little bit. We're chasing after Georgian and Crossdale and a few others, and I think we're already down 1 spot. I think, but I could be wrong. As a car wide on the exit of turn 1. Now we just choose to follow Georgian up the hill. It does mean I have to go around the outside here, but for some reason Georgian comes wide and gives me the draft. That's perfectly fine with me. And we choose to go on the right side. I had wondered before the race which side would be better to the bus stop here, and I do think it's this inside line, because you can claim that apex and then just bury the throttle around the outside here, and then you get the inside if you're still here for Terrabolica. Just awful corner, but I was pretty happy with my setup. I could keep it buried in there and not be sliding too much, so I kept my speed through it, but I was able to go as tight as I was pleased, really. Oh yeah, also this course, Watkins Glen short, entirely 4th and 5th gear in these cars. It's not, if you're in 3rd, something's gone wrong. Something's horribly gone wrong. So we caught up to, I think this is Viperian, with Georgian tucked up behind, and yeah, we send it a bit later, but again we're on the outside, we gotta give room, and we do. No touchy, no touchy. This is giving Georgian the advantage coming up the hill now, because now I'm the lead car, so I don't get any drafts. Georgian gets drafts, Viperian gets drafts. Georgian decides a bump draft. I'm not sure why. Maybe he thought I was going wider left than I was, so I get a little bump draft. And Jordan goes inside, and he actually ends up boxing Viper in, which was clever play from the Russian. Now, while I'm battling Georgian to this, keep an eye on that mirror in the top right, because yeets happen there. I'm sure there's perspectives from other people being put up where it shows Viper being yeeted and the resulting chaos. That's not my story. My story is here. However, I think that was partially caused by myself and Georgian being too wide. We were slower through the bus stop. So Viper backed off, not to yeet both of us, but whoever's behind didn't back off as much and ended up yeeting. So yeah, Viper got sent. So we jump forward a little bit. I think we're catching up with Crossdale. Georgian's already cleared him, so we're now following the lovely little draft train along. Now, when I'm following other drivers, I love to take note of where they're quicker and slower, and traits, because they're very useful for getting by. I did notice into that corner the Crossdale braked before where I typically brake. So if we're in a side-by-side situation, I think I could pull an advantage. I think, but then again, you can't base it on one lap, you can't have to look at a couple laps. But this is a sprint series, we have 11 laps in this race, so not a lot of time to assess how to overtake someone, and it's just going to have to be sent. Also doesn't help when you cut the course and slow yourself down, so yeah, don't do that either. But anyway, everything depends on the first corner in this track. If you come out of that corner like half a tenth down, you can be 2 tenths down by the time you get to the bus stop. It's savage. And you see Crossdale was just a teeny bit wide, just a teeny bit slow, and I think he has lower balance of performance. But even so, we can cruise up past. So we get ahead, he's going to pull in behind us, and I'm just going to take the normal racing line. Because I know, to a fair degree, that I can brake deeper. And even then, he got to the left of me, but even then I was confident enough that I can hit the brakes a little later. I still get through fine. So, now try and chase after Georgian again. It's a couple laps later. We're getting towards the end of the race. Couldn't close the gap to Georgian at all. Everyone up front here was pretty even on pace. Qualifying was super tight. I think it was a second between the top 12. So it was tight. So that's the end of race 1. Yeah. Come down here to the designated donut zone where I try to do donut in second. Don't try and donut in second in these cars, it doesn't work. First, there you go. There we are, the designated donut zone. So, after a whole lot of cars go by, we're going to race 2. So, we get a decent start, but again, not fantastic. We held station with Georgian, but Sal's got a great start there, so we are stuck here. Again, we back off early, go around the outside, give everyone space, yada yada yada. Everything's fine. Except Meister gets me. And then Crossdale gets me. You get screwed here so much if you don't have the draft. It's ridiculous. So from Nihon, Georgian, Meister and Crossdale, we have this big train coming up the hill. So I got the brakes early, give everyone space. I end up just going too slow, because look what's coming behind. I'm lucky there's only one line through there. Because that was not ending well otherwise. So we hang it around. Now we're hopefully going to try and draft Crossdale. I remember to use my lights this race, because I had DRS I think bound to that button in the last race. So remember last race where I like be on the inside of this corner? Yeah, I'm on the outside now, watch what happens. You don't know how tight you can go. So anyway, shenanigans ahead. Shenanigans. Flip. Yeah. Do you remember I said if you're ever in third gear, you've done something wrong? Yeah, well I'm in third gear, so yeah. Yeah, that gap was interesting. There was a shenanigans of car bouncing off guardrails and stuff. We ended up having to shoot that gap. But of course, everyone's trying to shoot that gap. And I think Gunsis is behind me. And what happened was that I got on the brakes just before Gunsis did. And Gunsis just couldn't not run into the back of me. It's physics. So he ended up running over the back of me as I slid across the front of his car. So I put myself in the barrier and dragged him with me. And that's that. Yeah. There's only so much you can do. You gotta react on instinct. There's no thinking time involved in something like that. You just gotta not send it, but do the best you can. And I apologized, everything's fine. Jordan gets past me with the draft, so we are again behind Jordan. Nothing's changed. Oh boy, this track is ridiculous. The draft is so powerful. Like, you have to be properly quick through the corners to pull enough of a gap for the draft not to matter, and even at that, it's tricky. Real tricky. So, we're with George and we're at the back, but we know we're a little bit quicker than the guys who should be at the back here, although a good chunk of us did get knocked out of the front, so there's quite a few cars trying to make up places again. As I said, a purple segment at the very end of the lap. Must have been pretty spicy out the last corner, to be fair, but anyway. Most spicy you need to be is out of the first corner. So, climb up the hill. The guys with the balance of power actually were really effective here. They weren't getting fourth gear at the top of the hill. Whereas I was 6% restrictor, so I was only towards the end. That was a load of smoke ahead. Always a load of smoke ahead. Where are we going to go? Jordan wipes out someone, I think it was Marsden. Okay, we survived. Fourth gear? There we go. Yeah, cool. That one, I think I learned my lesson from the first incident. Slow down. Also in this track there are, it's hard to see my recording here, but there are the marshal lights around the track for the yellow flags. And they popped up as, Jesus, smart pipe, catch it. Good God. Those sector lights were coming up, so they were, marshal lights were coming up. So even in VR, I could actually tell really easily when there's yellow lights. So I'm not sure if that was a PRC installation or that was something built into the track, but they are very useful. Very, very useful. Even in VR, they were perfectly visible, so they were lovely. But yeah, so we got through that one. There was a whole lot of going on. There are other people's perspectives to watch, I hope. But that's not my story. My story is how I got through it. Using a lot of grass and some locking up in the grass. It's fine. It's fine. Since a few laps later, we put in some decent laps. We got low 26s, which is a pretty decent race pace around here in these cars with a battered up car. And we're closing in Mr. Grinder here. So we Grinder, Haranjo, and Psych as well, just immediately ahead. And then look at the gaggle. You'll see them come up to here now, up the hill. Oh, I can't speak. Look at it. What was it? 2, 4. I'm the 8th car in this train. Oh man. I think I said in teammate one, but I rate this race gaggle out of 10. And yeah, like, look at it ahead. That's just ridiculous. Oh, and of course, what happens at gaggle? Shenanigans. So I slow down to avoid shenanigans and nearly get run over by Mr. Grinder. And then I thought I could get the inside of tin here, but he just closed the door in time. So I had to back off, and who was that? That Waffles? No, yeah, it was Waffles. Went around the outside of Grinder there. And he's now charged up the inside of me. And again, I'm on the outside of this corner. I don't like you. I like the inside of this corner. The outside, again, look, you have to go so wide, you don't know how much you can put in. But Waffles half disappeared there. Grand. As coincidence, I did not realize how close Grinder got. I'm not going for Waffles. Too many cars. I did not realize how close Waffles got to me there. That was terrifying. I think he may have expected me to back out. I'm not sure. Either way, I go up the inside here, and this just screws me. You see the difference, like, I just couldn't defend. It was just nothing. I'm up the inside, like, unless he decides to go on the outside, then I have a chance. But the moment he decides to do the switchback, it's done. I can't defend this. There's nothing you can do. So he's pulling away. Grinder's following him. Now, Waffles moved over. It gave me a teeny bit of draft. It's a teeny bit of draft. I don't know why, but he did. Which gave me half a chance, and then I was too slow. And then Grinder just got by. And then I got in the grass. Yeah. Even when I'm doing okay, I seem to find a way to shoot myself in the foot. Oh well. It's a couple laps later. I think this 25-minute race was 18 laps or thereabouts. So yeah, we are. Look at the engine struggle. Chasing Grinder up the hill here. We're gonna kind of try and carbon copy the move we did before. He holds the inside, so outside we go. You should have enough overspeed to pretty much just about clear him before the braking. Yeah. Clear him and just slam it in. And that was Psych on the outside. Oh, also Haranjo, unfortunately ran out of fuel. Poor fella. So friendly reminder, check your fuel. This is the same lap. This is the last lap we managed to get Grinder. No, was it the next lap? Too much happened in these races, man. Far too much happened in these races. So I started 6th and was finishing up in 10th. So I did lose places, but I think overall during the race, made 3 or 4 places after that first wreck. No, that's more. After the second wreck, I think I gained 3 places. So yeah. So this one was done in VR, like I said, at the start. But I think in order to stream, I'm going to do it in non-VR next time. So yeah, join me for that, or catch the highlights after. See ya.